Today I'm at one of my favourite places in the world ever. I'm in Winchelsea, which is just between Rye, which is just literally behind me, and then Fairlight and Pet Level on the opposite side with the ancient woodland. Pretty much done most of this area now. Today we're off to talk about a really tragic story. I won't say too much, you probably guessed it in the title, but I'm off for a brisk, freezing cold walk today to show you this, and really hope you like it, so stay with me. On the night of the 14th of November 1928, a strong wind in excess of 80 miles an hour swept up the English Channel. Around 4 a.m. on the 15th of November, a small Latvian steamer called Alice of Riga, loaded with bricks, collided with a larger German ship called the Samira. 8 miles southwest of Dungeness, Alice lost her rudder and a hole was torn into her side. At 4:27, the Ramsgate Coast Guard received a message passed on by the Northumberland radio saying, "Steamer Alice of Riga leaking, drifting southwest to west, 8 miles from Dungeness." The Rye Harbour Coast Guard station was informed, and at 4:55 a.m, Maroons were fired just after 5 a.m. to summon the lifeboat crew. At 6:45 a.m, after 3 attempts to get the boat away, the Mary Stanford Lifeboat crew, consisting of 17 members, rowing this non-self-righting 14-oar, pulling and sailing Liverpool-class surfboat away from the beach and into the open sea, without any motor power to help them. Daybreak was just breaking when at 6:50 a.m, Rye Coast Guard received a message to say that the crew of the Latvian vessel Alice of Riga had been rescued by the Samira. Frantic efforts had been made by the signalman to recall the lifeboat, but to no avail. During this frantic time, the crew did not see the recall signal. At around 9 a.m, the mate of the SS Houghton saw the lifeboat 3 miles west-southwest from Dungeness, and all appeared well. Then at 10:30 a.m, a young boy called Cecil Merchant was collecting driftwood at Camber and saw the lifeboat capsize. He ran home and told his parents, who had then alerted the Jury's Gap Coast Guard. By 12 noon it had been confirmed that the Mary Stanford lifeboat had capsized and was floating towards the shore. Over the next 2 hours it is said that over 100 men rushed to the shore where the upturned lifeboat lay. No effort was spared in trying to revive the 15 bodies that had washed up ashore, but sadly all died. 3 months later, the body of Henry Cutting was washed ashore at Eastbourne. The body of the youngest crewman, John Head, aged 17, was never found. This disaster had a great impact on the local community. Eva Southerden, who was 15 at the time, recalls her father Charles returning home that night breaking down whilst he told his wife what he had seen and that he couldn't find Charlie. Charlie was found later that night. There was much speculation as to the cause of the capsize and why the lifeboat was in the position where it had capsized. A popular view was that either John Head or Henry Cutting, or both, had been washed overboard and that the lifeboat was looking for them. The next evening an inquest was held at Rye Town Hall. The seaworthiness of the lifeboat and the competence of the crew were all called into question, but the boat and crew were found absolutely efficient. Questions were then asked about the crew's life jackets. They were suggested that they had been worn and perished. As a result, they had become waterlogged and weighed down the crew and drowned them. These life jackets were adopted by the RNLI in 1917 and delivered to Rye Harbour in September of that year. The same life jackets were tried and tested in a heavy gale on the 30th of October 1917 and voted 11-6 by the crew as being their preferred type. The coroner recorded a verdict of death by accident. On Tuesday the 20th of November 1928, the funeral was held of the 15 of the crew buried in a communal grave. Hundreds of mourners from all over the county attended, along with members of the Latvian government and other dignitaries who were also present. When Henry Cutting's body was found at Eastbourne 3 months later, it was brought back home and interred with his fellow crew members. John Head's body was never recovered. The Board of Trade sat at Rye Town Hall on the 19th, 20th and 21st of December, and then again on the 1st, 2nd and 4th of January. After deliberation, the court announced, as there were no survivors of the crew, the cause of the lifeboat capsizing is a matter of conjecture, but from the evidence available, we are all of the opinion that whilst attempting to make the harbour on a strong flood tide and in high and dangerous breaking sea, she was suddenly capsized and the crew were thrown into the water, 2 men being entangled under the boat. The broken water and heavy surf caused the loss of the crew. The Mary Stanford remained in Rye Harbour until the inquiry was over. In January 1929 she was taken to the RNLI depot at Poplar in East London, where she was broken up. The dependents of those who died were pensioned by the RNLI, with the local fundraising over £35,000. And so ends the sad and tragic story of the lifeboat known as the Mary Stanford, one that history will never forget. Welcome everybody, hope you're okay. We've made it to the Mary Stanford Lifeboat house. What an incredible story. Oh, just get back out of that wind. What an incredible story, an incredible piece of history for Sussex. Extremely well known in this area, this. It's absolutely beautiful just being here. And obviously going to the beach. I think this is one of the best walks I've had in a long time. And yeah, it's kind of sad because obviously this is a very, very sad story. And yet I can pretty much, from where I am, pinpoint everywhere I've been to. From the World War II observation post to the ancient forest to Fairlight to Pet Level to Rye to Winchelsea, just there. Amazing really. And yeah, here we are, and it's absolutely incredible. I bet you anyone, if we go around the corner, we're going to get the wind. There you go. This talks about the Stanford tragedy there, which obviously you've had in your history lesson, so we won't go through it again. But can you imagine though, on that November, how freezing cold it would have been? You know what, it's kind of really sad to sort of think actually that I'm standing here knowing that just beyond us, heading out towards Dungeness, so I'll show you in directional terms where this where the tragedy roughly happened. So over there, if I can just get out of the wind for a second, if you can't see that, but finger of doom, that's Dungeness Power Station. So it gives you an idea where Dungeness is, and it would have been on this side, and obviously coming out of here, going straight down, deploying the lifeboat, never to be seen again. So sad. Okay, so I'm now on the beach, and it's quite poignant when you sort of put it into context that if we look behind us, there it is. The last thing they would have seen as they'd come out on this stormy November day. The sounds of the wind, as even you can hear it now, rushing through. The heroism of these people blows my mind, really does. Protected from the wind for the moment. I just want to say thank you so much for coming along with me and taking the time to appreciate this story, this very sad story. I cannot imagine what it would have been like on that November day. And obviously that idea that, you know, you'd never, this would be the last thing you might ever see. Yeah, very, very, very sad. The point of this video, as I always mention in these types of ones, is to really document it, to encourage you to come down here, to understand stories so they don't get ever forgotten. And I think that's really why I do this. Yes, I get a beautiful walk out of it. Yes, I get the chance to come to a place that some of you watching may never have the chance to come to. But I do it for the reasons that history is so important, and when I say because history matters, it's stories like this that really make that true. So I just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, I really hope you appreciate this video. Stay safe, look out for more interesting stories and tales, and spread the word of the channel. Much love to all of you out there. And in the immortal words of Phoenix history, never have they ever been so truer, because history matters. And we can finally say now that on this channel we've covered this story, and what a story it told. Take care everybody, and I'll see you all very soon.